see the shape it takes, the 2.5 inches extension on the hip area. Make sure you notch right there, and then for the back. In today's video, we're going to learn how to draft the bodice of this particular style. So we're going to start off with our front and back basic bodice pattern. First thing we're going to do is start manipulating the front of this pattern. We're going to be cutting along the waistline. So you need the half length of either your bodice measurement or your client's bodice, and then you're going to mark it at that point. So the pattern we're working on is 17 inches for the half length. So half length is usually an inch above your belly button. You mark that point on your pattern paper, and then you draw a straight line connecting it from the center front up onto the other end of your pattern. Once this has been done, you're going to be cutting through the pattern this way, and after which I'm just labeling the lower bodice and the upper bodice. So right and front lower bodice for the lower bodice of this pattern, and that is the center front and the side seam. Doing the same to the upper bodice of the front basic bodice pattern. So many bodices. That's the center front as well. So I'll just go ahead to do the back as well. I divided it along the half length there, and I'm also labeling the back lower bodice and the back upper bodice. Once this has been done, we're going to take our scissors and then cut through the bodice this way. Now go back to the front basic bodice pattern, and then we are going to manipulate the front bodice of this pattern. I'll be cutting through the middle line of that waist dart and stopping just at that shoulder dart point where the shoulder dart stops. So I'll cut through the middle line and stop there. And then what I'm doing here is folding up the original shoulder darts there. Okay, so we're transferring the darts from the shoulder, we're transferring it to the waist. So this is the technique we're going to be using. So just use your paper tape and hold these bodices together. Hold the dart legs together. Now we're going to work on the neckline of the front. I'm using a 6 inches deep neckline, and the width is 3.5 inches. So 6 inches by 3.5 inches. What I have left there is 4 inches. Okay, so just use your French curve or neckline curve. Use it to join those points together in a curve-like manner. Once this has been done, we can then cut off the neckline and shape the shoulder line at that point. You want it to have a straight line on the shoulder, and you want to take your time to cut the neck along the line you just marked. Going over to the front lower bodice, measure the size of the darts you have there. I have about 2 inches wide dart, and I'm going to be taking just 1.25 inch away from the side. If you take away the whole 2 inches, it's not going to be very balanced. With pattern, balance is key. So taking away the whole 2 inches from the front may not give the pattern the balance it needs. So what I just did was I'm taking away just 1.25, that's 1.25 inch away from that dart, and then I'll transfer the remaining 3/4 inches or 0.75 inch. I'll transfer it to the back. The next thing I'm doing is lowering the front waistline by just 0.25 inches. That's a quarter inch. You have to lower it because by the time you join the upper bodice and the lower bodice, you want it to cinch in together. You want it to connect nicely, and this will eliminate any puckering that it may give you along the waist there. So I'm connecting this point like this, after which I will cut off those excesses. Once this has been done, we're through with the front with those steps we have done. I'll now go to the back pattern. The first thing we're going to take out is the zipper excess there at the back. Remember that this pattern has a snatched zipper back, a snatched back effect. So I'm taking off the excess there from the back, after which we are going to be drafting the neckline. We're still going to be using a 3.5 inches wide neckline. So I'll mark it there, 3.5 inches, and then the depth, we're going to be using 3 inches for the depth. For the princess dart on the back, I want the back to have a princess dart. I'm connecting from the mid shoulder dart there. You can see the blue mark where it's starting from, and connecting it to the very top of the waist dart where it begins. So I'll cut off that dart excess this way. Okay, so just follow the line and cut off up onto that shoulder dart. Just remove the excess there. Okay, follow the line and cut it off as well. So once this has been done, I'll now go ahead to cut the neck. Connect it first of all, if you haven't done so already, and then cut off the neck line. So here we're moving on to the back lower bodice, and we're still removing that zipper excess, the continuation from the back upper bodice. The next thing we're going to do is transfer the 3/4 inches that we took out from the front and measure what you have on the back, that as well. And then whatever measurement you have, you're going to be taking it out on the side. Now you may decide to keep the back waist dart, right? It depends on you. Since there's a princess dart on the back upper bodice, you can decide to keep the lower bodice, the darts there. But I'm just removing it out from the side. So this is what we have for the back lower bodice, and all our patterns are ready. Let's start cutting our let's start cutting the patterns on fabric. So we are cutting the bottom of the dress now. This is the front bodice. So I'm putting it this way because this is the center front and this is the part that is on fold here. I iron the fabric first of all before placing it here. Now this dress is not going to be mini like the style inspiration. Okay, so this part is open this way. You're folding it into two. And then align the center front that way. I'm going to be placing my measuring tape. I'll put it on 16 inches. for the straight line. We shaped the waist. We chopped up about half an inch. I'll put it on the 16-inch mark here. So I want this dress to be as long as 52 inches. Why? This is going to be like a midi length. Okay. The actual dress length of this um the particular body type I'm working on is 45 inches. That's directly on the knee. So I'm adding an addition of 7 inches. That 7 inches will include the hem. It will also include the length, like extending the length of the dress. So that's what we've done. So from this 16 inches, it's going to extend up onto 52 inches at the bottom. So on the side, I'm going to be putting 1 inch for the sewing allowance, but on the hip, I'm extending it to as much as 2.5 inches. If you look at the style inspiration, you'll see that there's kind of like an extended kind of hip, imaginary one. So that's what this will do. Just shape it out this way, yeah. And then from there, we're going to connect it to. So I have measured from here to this point, right? 12 inches. Now coming to the very bottom, remember I said I'm using 52 inches in length. I'll still do the 12 inches there. Okay, so we're going to connect these points from here to here, here to here. So connect it straight together this way, like let it connect from this 1 inch here to the very end. It includes the sewing allowance already. So you can see how it's looking there. Very good. So this is how you can see the beautiful shape it gave. So that's the same thing we're going to do for the back. The front is ready. We'll do the back this same way. And then we cut the top bodice. So we have our back lower bodice. This dart has been taken away from the side, and this is the zipper area, splits open, and then you can see the hip enhancement there. So the sewing allowance added to the top was 1 inch, and then on the hip area 2.5 inches. So you make sure that it matches up to the very bottom of the pattern this way. So what I mean is, from this 2.5 inches extension, you're going to connect it to be like in a pencil form, in a pencil shape. Okay, so that's what we're going to have for the back of this pattern. And then moving over to the front, you can see the shape it takes, the 2.5 inches extension on the hip area. And then for the bottom, we make sure that the width of this bottom is the same width we have just on the pattern. So from here to here, measure it. That's going to be the width for the bottom. Then use your long ruler to connect it from that 2.5 inches extension up onto this bottom area. So that is it for the front. Here's what we're having for the front upper bodice. Remember, we need only the waist dart. Make sure you notch right there where the waist dart is. So we're going to use a needle and thread first of all to sew the waist dart before using your sewing machine. So this is it here. And then for the back, remember, we'll be having a princess seam that just connects these two back pieces together. So for all the top pieces, I'm going to iron interfacing. If you want to see the actual way to sew this to have a very crisp and beautiful finish, enclosed sewing technique, fixing in the zipper, sewing up the dots on the front bodices, as well as sewing up the back princess dot. If you want to see how everything will come out nicely, please click this video here to watch. Stay safe. God bless you all. Bye.